Welcome everyone to the very first episode of our Money Maestro expert series by Team Breinto. Through this series, we want to spread financial awareness, some literacy regarding what the right investments should be, how you should go about it. And for that, we thought that the best person to kick off our series would be Sandeep. Hello, welcome Sandeep.
Hello, hello Akriti and Ashish.
Welcome, Sandeep.
So we have known Sandeep from quite some time, and we have admired his financial acumen, his investment strategies, and we thought that it would be a great way to start off. He would be the best person to start off with, so that's why he is here with us. So, Sandeep, should I ask you the first question that I wanted to ask?
Sure. I just wanted to comment on your first reaction that I'm not a financial advisor, correct? I am the person from the crowd who just pick it up few aspect of the financial planning, which I do for myself actually. And this is the opportunity that the very first opportunity for me to share my thoughts. I may have done it a lot of time in formal discussion, but this is the first time I get a opportunity to share my thoughts. So I'm equally excited to be part of this conversation.
That is so nice of you. So, संदीप मैं फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन पूछती हूँ आपसे
Mhm.
अ, आप संदीप आपके क्या व्यूज है कि हमारे जैसे हमारे एज के लोग हैं जो ऑलरेडी अर्न करना स्टार्ट कर चुके हैं या फिर अर्न करते करते उन्हें थोड़ा टाइम हो गया है उनकी फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी पे आपका क्या ओपिनियन है डू यू थिंक दे नो इनफ
Oh, okay. I mean, very good question actually, and this is a question that I struggle. Uh, Once completed my 10 years in job. Oh shit, I didn't know this. That I should have started investing in my first salary should have gone into the investing, correct? And I was trying to get this data. In India, 74% is the literacy rate, correct? But financial literacy is around 24%. So there is a gap of around 49% or 50. Now, that is a major gap. And if you go to state by state, lucky to the Goa part, Goa is the highest, 50%. But because it's a small state, right? But you exclude the Goa and other states, you will see the minimum would be like 4% financial literacy, and maximum would be somewhere around, excluding the Goa, would be around 36%. So it is much less that I believe. Now, my view is that this financial, why do we need this, right? Why do we need the financial? Why you want it to be financial? That is the bigger question. Then how do we address it, correct? So for example, let me ask you a question, correct? When you buy dress for yourself or for someone, will you make your own decision or do you ask someone else to make your decision? Even if you're buying $1,000 of things.
Yeah. So we make our own decision. We buy it
Sure.
based on our experiences and biases.
Correct. You have your own biases of color, you have your biases of the choices, correct? I want the collar shirt, I want colorless shirt, correct? I want this color, I want that color. You reach to the point because you are making your own decision and you're happy with your decision, correct? No matter what else is making that. To me, the
right
financial literacy is all about this, correct? Every person in my country should be able to make their own decisions about the most important thing that they earn, correct?
Mm.
Literacy
Okay.
help you to get you the job, get you the money, correct? But the
Mm.
financial literacy help you to get how the money makes some, which no one is worried about it,
Very valid point.
correct?
very valid
So,
really
so to me, I think the financial literacy is as important as is the literacy, correct? It should go hand in hand. Our
Yeah.
education system is not talking about that.
Yeah.
And that's where I will cover as we go forward uh, some thoughts that I have. But coming to your question, that what my thought is, it is too important. And the reason is not because we are 24%. The reason is because I want to make my own decisions so that I can be happy with that decision. I can sleep with that decision.
Yeah.
If you if you leave those decisions to someone else to make, you may not be happy. You may not be having a confidence level on the decision level. And that is the reason you will come out from that investment very early in
Mm.
the cycle. Or you will not even go into that investment.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's my view on the financial literacy that it should be going as a part of the literacy. Everyone should be aware of it to make your own decisions.
All right. Sandeep, when did you start investing? कब से आपने इन्वेस्टिंग पहली बार आपने इन्वेस्ट किया और फिर इसे कंटिन्यू किया अभी तक? So when did you first start investing?
Okay. So before I answer this question, I think my view is that when I should have started investing,
Yeah.
I should have started investing is when I got my first job, which is around 24 years, correct? And if trust me, if I invested, let's say the 5,000 rupees at that time every month, I wouldn't be doing this 9 to 9 job. I would have saved enough, and which we'll talk about this compounding principles, that after that I don't need to work for it. Correct? The money that I earn, that is working 24 by 7 by 365.
Yeah.
And that is a mistake I did because I did my graduation, I did my engineering, but no one told me how to do the financial planning. Correct? I got my first job. There was an LIC agent sitting at my home. I was in Kolkata. I was in branch. I joined my career as a banker. So I was in one of the bank and doing my first job. Possibly the first or second salary that was sitting in my account, and the LIC agent was sitting at my home. That saying there is a project that you have to buy, correct? Because of the relationship. I
Yeah.
end up buying it. It was no more a investment.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing that, correct? So I didn't have the right choices that I made on 24. At the age of 24, that should have made me self-sufficient now. I could have lived now without any job. It's just my money would be doing the job. I could be just relaxing at the age of 38. That is the biggest mistake that I have done. And that is the biggest reason that I'm connecting with you guys, correct? Uh, that this investment should have happened at the very first salary that you earn. And well before that. I will talk about that also. Now, coming to personally when I got aware of it, yes, I got aware of it 2004 about this stock market and thing, but that was not a good start, correct? Because my friend has introduced me to the stock market and he was doing some kind of trading. Then 2007, I think I got personally open a demat account, but at that time also I don't know how to invest it. The last 3 years was the changer for me. 2017 to 2018 and 2019, correct? So from 2007 to 2017, I was just dreaming about something that's called technical analysis. So in the stock market, there's something called technical analysis and there is fundamental analysis. So I know that I am very fond of the technical analysis part of it, but I never get a start of doing it. I was keep delaying it that I have to do, but I was never able to leave this from my mind that I have to do it. But I think 2017 is a good time for me. And in the last 3 years, I built some investment strategies, some trading strategies, which we will share as we go forward. So that's my answer. 2004, I think I get to know about the stock market. 2007, where I opened my first demat account, opened 5 per share, and that share is still with me. The company is no more there, but I have the share. So the company stopped doing their business, but I still have those shares because I don't know, correct? And there's a small story, correct? How did I buy that share? So that share was trading around 63 rupees. Suddenly that start trading on 3 rupees. I thought that 63 rupees share is getting 3 rupees. Tomorrow it may be maybe 10 rupees.
Yeah.
But I didn't know there is something called a stock split. So the stock gets through the split of the same, and that's how I got it 3 rupees. And after that, I never get a opportunity to sell it. I keep buying, keep holding that. I still holding that share. That is my first share. It's still reflecting my Demat account. So that's about uh, my thing, but my journey was not good. I think the journey should have been that I should have started investing in the uh, very first job that I did.
Okay.
The second thing also, this investment, um, I believe, what are the asset class that you can invest into? Right? Real estate. Now, many people in India, especially in the cities that I am coming from, I am in Hardwar currently, correct? There, the real estate has shown the money how it grow, correct? It has doubled, it has tripled, correct, over a period of time, and it has created a trust. So many people now realizing to invest on the real estate because they have seen that. Then the other investment is insurance. Our LIC folks has done a good job, correct? They come to our houses because of the relationship. Uh, they sell the investment, but they on top of the insurance, correct? Insurance, and investments are two different things. You can't club it, correct?
Yeah.
LIC was doing that, correct? Then you have traditional fixed deposits, correct? Then some local chit funds. These are the vehicles that we were aware of it. In fact, in my city, if you ask me share market, many such small cities, the people doesn't even take this as a profession, as a good profession. They treat it like in Hindi sattabazi, correct? So if I do a share market, many people may not be even treating it good, correct? Forget about listening about me. This profession itself is not treated good. So forget about how the people will invest on that, correct? How they will trust on me, correct? And that is a mindset, correct?
Yeah. I
And
think
India,
it happens today also. I mean,
mhm,
people don't take it as a serious profession. I mean, those who are not aware of this thing.
correct, correct. And
इवन आई कैन रिलेट
uh,
संदीप, आप जो कह रहे हैं ना कि
uh,
स्टॉक मार्केट को लोग अच्छी तरह से समझ नहीं पाते, अभी भी उसे सट्टा की तरह समझते हैं। बिल्कुल आप सही कह रहे हैं। आई कैन ऑल्सो रिलेट टू व्हाट यू आर सेइंग। पीपल आर रियली
correct.
नॉट अवेयर।
And
So,
that point was also valid, जहाँ पर संदीप आपने ये बताया कि लोग इंश्योरेंस को भी इन्वेस्टमेंट की तरह ट्रीट करते हैं। प्रोटेक्शन और इन्वेस्टमेंट में डिफरेंस होता है, और वी जनरली मिस्टेक इन आवर इनिशियल फेजेस ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट।
मेरा
तो
पहला इन्वेस्टमेंट इंश्योरेंस था, और अभी मुझे लग रहा है कि मुझे शायद पहले पता होता तो मैंने कहीं और इन्वेस्ट किया होता।
correct, correct. In fact, everyone, I would say, I don't want to quote the name of that insurance company in this call, but most of that insurance company's products are clubbed where they're selling the insurance, um, but they club it with the investment. And
राइट।
if you just,
राइट।
and by the time that now I got educated, saying that although that was a very small amount for me, uh, but that's the wrong choice. My first investment gone into the wrong choice. 2007, where I realized it, I stopped doing this thing. I started putting the money into mutual funds. So I was not doing directly the investment into the stock, but I started doing the mutual fund. So that's the awareness piece happened to me in 2007.
ओके।
तो संदीप, एक मतलब आप इतनी अच्छे से अपने पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस बता रहे हैं विद इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड व्हाट यू हैव लर्न फ्रॉम इट, तो मेरे दिमाग में एक क्वेश्चन ये था कि आपकी कोई ऐसी प्रेफरेंस वाली इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रैटेजी है कि जो आपके साथ रही है और उसमें आपका फेथ अभी भी है? ऐसी कोई स्ट्रैटेजी आप बताना चाहेंगे?
So my investment style is to buy those investment companies whose product you're using it from morning to evening when you're traveling, when you're banking, when you're buying insurance company, correct? All of those products, if you buy, you will be in the good shape. Don't buy small companies, which means any company whose market cap is greater than 20,000 crore, which is a large cap, you just go and invest in those companies. These companies are not going to disappear in the overnight. Choose your companies to be large cap. Choose your B2C company. those who don't understand B2C is business to consumer, the product that you're using.
Mhm.
If you're working in automobile, correct, and you know about automobile company, if you're driving a Maruti, buy Maruti. If you're driving Tata, buy Tata. If you're driving Honda two-wheeler, buy Honda. If you're driving Bajaj, you buy Bajaj. As simple as that. You don't need to apply any mind, correct? Because you are using their product. So that's my style is, and the benefit that you get with this is that market will fluctuate, correct? Market will correct. That is the uh, theme of that market is correct. Economy will go down sometimes. Something will happen. But on those bad days, your trust on those companies will not allow you to come out, correct? You will still be invested, saying, I'm still using those products. What is the problem, correct? Let me just go and invest. So what I do is that I don't invest on companies which are less than 20,000 crores. Okay? I do have some risky portfolio where I do it, but I don't suggest that, correct? For the beginners to start with it. So don't invest in any company which is less than 20,000 crores. Don't invest in a company that you don't understand. That's what I'm saying. Use only those companies which are B2C. The company shouldn't have any debt. Correct? Personally, with the God grace, I have never taken a loan. Correct? In fact, the car or I haven't invested on the house yet, but I purchased property, but with the cash. So don't invest on companies which are running on a loans for 10 years. A small working capital loan is okay, but a company with a loan is big no for me. The
Yeah.
company should have a cash. I am a person of a cash. I love cash. Okay? If I have a cash, I can sleep all night. Okay? So a company which have a cash can do 10 different things, can survive this COVID-19 pandemic at all. But a company without cash cannot survive. So I go on companies which are having a cash, not taking any loan by and large. And the last thing is the promoter holding. So the promoter holding is if the promoter of that company having a 20% stake in that company, what is the promoter doing there? Correct? So to me, the promoter should have at least the 60% stake in that company, which means he is still in the game to make the money for their investors. He's still holding the fort.
Yeah.
So I will go with those companies which are having uh, the 60%. So in summary, market cap should be greater than 20,000 crores. Debt ratio should be zero, close to zero, you can say. Sometimes 0.1, 0.2 is okay. Less than 0.5 is also okay for me. Promoter holding should be greater than 60%. Company should have cash, and these should be the B2C company. So once I apply this filter in a screener, I go and find it out which are the B2C company. If you're a very beginner, you don't know about the screener, just see the company that you're using, correct? Make a list of those 30, 40 company. During the day you are using, just make a list of that. Go and find it out what is the market cap of that. If the market cap is not greater than 25, don't go with that. Initially, I'm saying when you get used to it, you can start taking risk. So I have two portfolio, for example, one is which is just the large cap, second is just less than 20,000 crore, but it's still greater than 10,000 crore, for example. So that's my investment style.
Yeah, very valid point, and I liked one of the points that one should invest in companies with which you are familiar. क्योंकि जब उसमें कोई नेगेटिव न्यूज़ आएगी या फिर कोई किसी भी रीज़न से कोई भी फॉल आता है, तो you don't panic. You know that company is good, it has been performing good, products are good, and you yourself are using it. तो इन दोज टाइम्स वो कन्विक्शन जो चाहिए होता है टू कीप इन्वेस्टेड इन दैट, वो तभी आता है जब आप उस प्रोडक्ट से उस कंपनी से फेमिलियर हैं. So very valid point. So this was related to a strategy that worked out for you. What about a strategy that did not work out for you, and how
Yeah.
did you deal with it?
So when I 2017 again I did the mistake. By the way, I got educated, but again I did the mistake. I got this advice from one well-known analyst. He is a fundamental analyst. The company name is GM Brew. It's an alcohol company in Mumbai based. They don't have business in any other state, I believe. It was trading around 950, or that is the time when I entered it. And that is, if you remember 2017, that time mid cap and small cap companies are a big time high. After that, they never make such high. Now these companies are coming up little bit. From that point, these companies start crashing, and now I'm sitting on around 40% loss on that company. I still hold that company. The reason with that advice is nothing wrong with that advice. The company was good. I made the entry at the wrong time, and maybe that person who made me this advice might have already exited from that company. I didn't know about it. So if you make your decision on the advice from someone else, then maybe there is some other advice that are not reaching to you. Maybe that person has exited it. You didn't know. Maybe you're too emotionally attached to that company. Now you're saying, I will not sell in the loss. But you don't know that that company is what it is doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that company.
Yeah.
So my caution is that I don't invest in a company until I understand the business. So very going back to the same philosophy, uh, is the B2C philosophy, correct? Or the company, if you're in IT company, you understand IT, you buy IT company, correct? If you're in automobile industry, you understand automobile, you buy an automobile. If you're a surgeon or doctor, you are buy pharma companies, correct? Wherever is the field that you are aware of it, you know these companies background, correct? If a doctor may not know about IT company, an IT engineer may not know much about the pharma company, but respective their field, they know about their companies. They deal with that company, correct? I know about TCS, I know about Infosys because I deal with those employees. I don't know about maybe Sun Pharma, but I know I have purchased medicine from that company. So from that perspective, I am a B2C, but I don't know inside of much about that API. What is the API? A lot of analysts is talking about now on the TV channels. API, China market of API is moving to India. I don't even understand what is this API. I know in software world what is API. I don't know in pharma world what is it. So why do I go about those companies which I don't even understand? I may go to pharma company, but just because I purchase the medicine from that, not because the API is effective. So my question is, stay with the businesses that you understand. That's it. Don't go with any other advice. Until you are not convinced, don't buy it.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Sandeep,
Sandeep,
please go ahead, Ashish.
yeah. So I wanted to move to other question. So, how do you do your research? I mean, you have already given an idea कि B2C कंपनीज में इन्वेस्ट करो, डेट कम होना चाहिए और उसका market cap should be more than 20,000. So basically, how do you start your research? So this question is especially for someone who is a beginner in this field or who wants to find out some good stock. So how should he move ahead?
Yeah. So there are two part of it, correct? The reason I am doing the research on this market is because I have little more interest than just the investment. I wanted to be making this India to be aware of this investment, correct? That's my next motive. So there are two parts of this investment strategy, correct? One is that you're excited about the investment stock market. That's where I am here. Correct? But if your interest is just to make your money to work for you, which means when you're sleeping, your money is still earning for you, then you don't need to do a massive research because many of the people, especially in the small town, correct, their work life is like they go from 8 a.m. till 11. They may be the shopkeepers, correct? They may have a family to run, correct?
Yeah.
The kids are at school, correct? So forget about them reading about the annual report and all.
Yeah.
It's hardly impossible for them, correct?
True.
So for them, my advice is that start investing slowly in the companies that I talked about, B2C, and doing early, correct?
Hmm.
The advantage of early is our eighth wonder, correct? You know the eighth wonder of is the compounding, correct?
Compounding. Yeah.
If you start early, you will do a better compounding, and that make a difference. The example that I was quoting it yesterday, I was doing this calculation. If 5,000 rupees per month I would have invested at the age of 24 till let's say 15 years, I would have made through the SIP investment, correct? A simple investment plan, correct? It can go in mutual fund, it can go into let's say the stock, correct? That is a vehicle that we're choosing. And if those investment return 20% per annum, that's where we are going into the stock market. You could have made around 47 lakhs, including your investment and the health, correct? And after that, if you invest 47 lakhs into a lump sum investment for an year for a 20 years, correct? You make it around 10 lakhs per annum.
Right.
And if you're satisfied with 70, 80,000 of earning per month, then why do you need to do a salary, correct? Why do you need a salary? You create an equivalent of that. At least the expense part of that is coming from it, correct? So the early start is that's the compounding. That's the example of compounding that I want to give you.
Yeah. So that's
Early
a
start,
important point. Yeah.
slowly, start slowly. Don't put all your money into stock market. Correct? If you're not convinced, start with 5,000. Whatever that is, correct? I typically recommend it to be like at least 10 to 15% of your salary should go into investment. And if you're early, don't do any other investment. Just go majorly on the stock.
Equity investment.
Equity investment, correct?
Yeah.
Either through the mutual fund or the stock, correct? But equity mutual.
Yeah. So it's not necessary that you do direct investment in equity. You can go via mutual fund also. But the important point is that you have to start early.
Correct. Now there are a lot of these small case, for example. I don't know if you heard about Joroda has a partnership with small case.
Yeah, it's a very good app.
Very
Yeah.
good. Correct? So if you don't know about all the companies, you buy a small case. Correct? There are a small case for B2C companies, for example. There are small case for IT companies. There are small case for pharma company. So you're not investing in one single company, you're investing in a basket of a company. If you wanted to be a little more conservative, you go to the mutual fund. Still invest in the equity, but in that you spend in the large cap fund. Don't go into small and mid cap. Correct? 1 or 2 years, you realize that you got a confidence. Then you keep increasing your 5,000 to another 1,000. Every year you should increase. Your salary is increasing. In the proportion, your investment should also increase.
Yeah.
That is the mantra. I think that is the mantra that I missed, and that is the mantra that now every youth should not miss. And that's what, in fact, what I'm working on is I'm trying to create a program, right? A very online kind of a course that I can give to all graduation colleges of India.
Okay.
Correct? It should be at least in the syllabus, correct? It
Right.
could be a 10-hour, 12-hour class, correct? You ask people to choose from the uh, communication skills or various other optional subjects. But none of the syllabus that I've seen is there. The investment is a syllabus at all.
Yeah.
सही बोल रहे हैं आप.
Correct?
एक्चुअली में अगर ये चीजें थोड़ा जल्दी सीख ले कोई तो स्टार्टिंग से इन्वेस्टमेंट करके काफी बड़ा कॉर्पस बिल्ड कर सकते हैं बहुत जल्दी.
Correct. एंड हम बचपन में जब थे, आपको याद होगा, मेरे बचपन में मैंने जब पढ़ना भी शुरू नहीं किया होगा. स्टार्ट विद दिस गुल्लक बोलते हैं हिंदी में.
हाँ, मिट्टी की गुल्लक. सही बोल रहे हैं.
मिट्टी की गुल्लक. तो उसमें वो कॉइन डाल के इन्वेस्ट करते थे, करेक्ट?
जी.
तो बचपन से तो हमें सिखाया जाता था कि आपको सेव करना चाहिए, करेक्ट? हम कॉइन डालते थे, हमें जो भी मनी मिलती थी वो हम उसमें डालते थे, करेक्ट? बट ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम जब हम ग्रेजुएट होने लगे, वो इन्वेस्टमेंट तो निकल ही गया हमारे दिमाग से, करेक्ट? वो गुल्लक भी टूट गई और हमारा कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट आया भी नहीं, करेक्ट? जो चीजें हमें बचपन से सिखाई गई थी वो चीजें हमारी दूर हो गई, करेक्ट। तो मेरे हिसाब से द राइट एज टू गेट इनटू दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट इज द ग्रेजुएशन, करेक्ट। बिकॉज उसके बाद यू एंटर इनटू ए इंडस्ट्री वेयर यू स्टार्ट मेकिंग मनी। तो आपको ग्रेजुएशन में ये तो सिखाया जाता है कि आप मनी कैसे बनाओगे, लेकिन ग्रेजुएशन में ये भी सिखाना चाहिए कि आप उस मनी का करोगे क्या।
करेक्ट।
ठीक है, आपके खर्चे होंगे, आप इन्वेस्ट करोगे, आप लाइफ जियोगे, करेक्ट, बट ए पोर्शन ऑफ दैट मनी शुड आल्सो गो इनटू इन्वेस्टमेंट।
राइट।
दैट्स वेयर मनी फॉर मनी।
Yeah, very interesting point.
Money should always work for you. You
Right.
stop working after 5 p.m. or 9, nowadays 9 p.m. But money should never stop working for you. So you should be always invested.
So संदीप, अभी जैसा इक्विटी वैल्यूएशन है आफ्टर कोविड, जो भी फॉल आया उसके बाद इतना एक रैली हुई, एंड आई थिंक वी हमारे कंट्री की जो रैली हुई है, जो भी रिटर्न दिया है हमारे कंट्री के इंडेक्सेस ने, वो सेकंड बेस्ट है वर्ल्ड में। कनाडा वाज द फर्स्ट एंड वी आर सेकंड। सो एट दिस पॉइंट जहाँ वैल्यूएशन इतने हाई हैं, आपको क्या लगता है किस सेक्टर में अभी भी इन्वेस्टमेंट स्कोप है जहाँ हम लोग इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, या जहाँ अभी भी हमें एक मार्जिन मिल सकता है और एक ठीक ठाक रिटर्न आ सकता है?
Correct. See, opportunities are always there. Sensex started with 1,000, now it is 45,000, correct? So this indexes will keep going up. There is no turnaround about that. It's going to be down, correct? जो हिंदी में से मंदी बोलते हैं, करेक्ट, मंदी, मार्केट में मंदी इज टेम्परेरी, करेक्ट। ये मेरा बोरोट है फ्रॉम अनिल सिंह गोई फ्रॉम जी बिजनेस एमडी, ही यूज दैट सेइंग कि मंदी जो है वो टेम्परेरी है, करेक्ट, पर जो तेजी जो है वो परमानेंट है। ही यूज द डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू द वे आई अंडरस्टूड। Indexes will keep going up. And the philosophy about indexes is because the bad companies get removed from the indexes and the good companies keep adding to the indexes. The motive of those gold indexes are going to be that it is always going to be up. Correct? Market is always going to be in the upper direction. MR of shares, you may have heard various stories of Asian Paints. All those stocks have never turned back. They never took back. They're always in the upper. So my thing is that don't look for the valuation is high, I should invest, correct? You should always invest. Now there could be two choices that you can invest. One is that you, and that's why this decision you have to make it and outsource to that decision rule, correct? Every day you can't come, should I invest or not, correct? You make your rules and outsource your those decisions to your head, correct? And we are because as a human, we are the very bad in making decisions. If you give me two shirts, it's difficult to choose. Correct? So you make your choices saying that this is my policy of investment. Let me tell you my policy, correct? And there are other variants also, which I believe Ashish would be following it. So if I know Ashish, he do every month chip kind of investment. Right? He don't look where the market is going. Whenever he has a cash, he come and buy some shares. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ashish. That's what I do.
Right. That's what I do.
Now, what I do? So I earn every month. I move that money into two rails, you can say, correct? From salary rail, I move it to a liquid rail, which means I park that money to a liquid fund. Those who don't understand liquid fund is like a fixed deposit, correct? It is a substitute of fixed deposit in the mutual fund world. So I buy the liquid fund. And now from that liquid fund, I move to the equities. That is where I have to make a choice. So think of a liquid fund is a small moving train and equity is a fast moving train, because liquid fund typically gives you 6 to 7% of return. I don't want it to be in 6 to 7% return, but I keep my money in the saving account, then I might be earning 0%, correct? I know in India we are getting 3%, we are lucky. So I want to move from salary account to the liquid fund so that I can get 6 to 7%. And then I look for a correction. In a year, my gut feel is, and the history also, at least 2 times in year, you will get a correction of 10%. In tranches you will get, correct? And when you get that correction, you move from liquid fund to the is not the systematic investment plan. My style is systematic from salary account to liquid. That I do every month. But from liquid to the equity is lump sum, which is once in a year, twice in a year, or thrice in a year. That is left to the correction. A good correction is a 10%. So if a stock has corrected, if you're looking for Asian Paint to buy, and if it's corrected at 10%, then you just buy it, correct? Of course, I'm a founder of a technical analysis, and hence I apply some technical analysis rules. For example, the support, the moving averages. But because we're having this conversation only for the retail investor who don't know about it, I don't want to increase the complexity. Correct? Just keep it simple. Whenever you see a stock has corrected a 10%, just go and buy it. From your liquid fund to the equity. This is my style. Correct? You may not be comfortable with it. The other style is every month, instead of moving from salary account to your liquid fund, from salary account you directly buy the stock. Every month you're buying, correct? But that is the process you have to follow. These are the only two processes that I know.
Actually, Sandeep, I think this particular call is more educating for me than the two of you. And I felt as if I am in some investment seminar listening to you, seriously. Very relatable. And it actually makes me feel and think कि savings or investments are a very different thing altogether. काफी सारे concepts आपने मेरे clear कर दिए अभी सिर्फ अपनी stories से. और आशीष, do you have a question for Sandeep? कोई
यस
question है आपके पास?
यस 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 अभी
Okay.
संदीप का बहुत मुश्किल से हमें टाइम मिला है, सो विल
Yeah.
यूटिलाइज इट. तो
Yeah.
संदीप, वन मोर क्वेश्चन. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम स्टॉक में हम लोग कहते हैं कि हमें मल्टी बैगर स्टॉक चाहिए, सब बोलते हैं, और एट सम पॉइंट हमें वो स्टॉक मिलता भी है, लेकिन कभी हमारी एंट्री गलत हो जाती है या कभी हम उससे पहले निकल जाते हैं. ये बजाज फाइनेंस में भी हुआ है और दीपक नाइट्राइट में भी हुआ. ऐसे कई सारे स्टॉक थे जिनमें एंट्री हुई, लेकिन किसी भी रीजन से कुछ फॉल आया तो हम बाहर निकल गए. और सेम बजाज फाइनेंस के साथ, वो सबको बताता है इट्स अ मल्टी बैगर स्टॉक. वो अभी भी कई सारे स्टॉक से ज्यादा रिटर्न देता है, लेकिन फिर भी अभी भी हम उसमें एंटर नहीं करते, वो जो भी रीजन हो. और अगर करते भी हैं तो बहुत जल्दी बाहर उससे स्टॉक हम बेच के बाहर निकल जाते हैं. तो क्या रीजन है, ऐसा क्या रीजन है कि रिटेल इन्वेस्टर का वो कन्विक्शन नहीं डेवलप हो पाता, या उनकी रिस्क एपेटाइट इतनी नहीं है? तो रीजन क्या है उसका कि रिटेल इन्वेस्टर वो मल्टी बैगर जो एक स्टॉक होता है उसमें इन्वेस्टेड क्यों नहीं रह पाते?
ये मार्केट जो है ना, ये दो चीजों पे चलता है, ग्रीड एंड फियर. या तो आप फियर से बाहर हो गए या ग्रीड से बाहर. These are only two reasons that will kick you out. And these are the emotions. Every human being have it. It's very difficult to control. Correct? So that's where multi-bagger, they are the very limited stocks. It is very difficult to find it out. Even if you find it out, it will be very difficult that you can hold that, either because of the fear or because of the greed, correct? Because the multi-bagger doesn't go just from 0 to like 1,000, correct? They may also go correct a lot also when the bad time comes, correct? Bajaj Finance, for example, right? It went to 10,000, it went now to 4,000. How many would have holded it? And now again from 4,000 to 10,000, it is heading towards 10,000, right? So
Bajaj Finserv.
Bajaj Finserv, sorry, yeah. So many of these multi-baggers is very difficult to identify. Yeah. Very difficult to hold for it. So my thing is that it is a luck factor for you. Is that if you're lucky enough, you will get to know about it. And think for retail investor, correct? Again, if you go little sophisticated, there are ways to identify this multi-baggers, and you can build on trust on those companies, and you can hold on. Correct? You have to
Mm.
control your fear and greed. You can do it. But for retail investor, don't get into that saying I need a stock which can double in 1 year. Don't get into that greed. Your money, I know in small towns, correct? Money is parked in FD at max, which is giving a 7%. 7% is before pre-COVID. Now it is like 5%. If you remove the TDS, if you are earning 30% slab, then almost no investment. Inflation is earning 6 to 7%. So FD is no more investment. If you go to rural, people are not even doing FD. Maybe they may be sitting on a 1 lakh of cash in their home, 2 lakh of cash. Okay, so don't go about making that money to be double. I don't want to give that dream. The realistic dream is that you should be able to earn 20% from the stock market. That is a good thing.
That's
And
enough for a retail investor. That's what you are advising,
correct,
right? Mm.
correct. For the very basic investment need, you just go and invest and look for 20% return every year. That is good enough. If you get to know about multi-bagger, it is a luck factor. If you are able to hold it, it's a luck factor, I would say. Correct. But if you really hunt for this multi-bagger, that is a different thing. You have to come into the investing side of it, correct? You have to become like me, correct? For example, or like you. Then you are hunting for the multi-baggers. And your reason of hunting is not only that you want to invest, you want to also ride it, you want to also socialize it that this is a multi-bagger. You want to tell 10 other people that this is a multi-bagger, correct? So why a retail investor will be hunting for a multi-bagger? I won't suggest him to be doing that, correct? If you get to know about it, like Bajaj Finserv, many of the retail investors in their portfolio would have Bajaj Finserv,
Mm.
which means you're lucky enough. Titan, for example, lucky enough, and just
And
how much you can hold it.
and I think संदीप आपकी जो भी फिलॉसफी थी एक है जो भी फिलॉसफी कि मार्केट कैप इतना होना चाहिए एंड देन डेट नहीं होना चाहिए एंड सो B2C कंपनी होनी चाहिए तो वो मैक्सिमम मल्टी बैगर मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ सारे मल्टी बैगर बट मैक्सिमम मल्टी बैगर उस फील्ड से ही एटलीस्ट इंडिया में हमें देखने को मिले हैं तो अगर हम बेसिक चेक जो भी आपने चेक बताए हैं मार्केट कैप एंड अदर थिंग्स डेट नहीं होना चाहिए एंड अदर थिंग्स अगर वो फॉलो करते हैं एक्सपेक्टिंग कि हमें 20% रिटर्न मिलेगा तो बाय तो देर इज अ वेरी हाई चांस कि हमारा वो स्टॉक कोई भी एक स्टॉक मल्टी बैगर ओवर द पीरियड बन जाए
करेक्ट एंड मेरे को लगता है कि नेक्स्ट बिग थिंग दैट इन इंडिया स्पेशली दिस 2020 हैज टीच अस टू बी एट होम करेक्ट मेरे को लगता है कि गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री which is the online gaming and this where people put their money like Dream11 for example. Uh, these are the companies that will make a next leap. That could be the multi-bagger. But unfortunately, in India, not many companies are there. Like Delta Corp is the one.
Delta
They
Corp.
are in the online, and then I think Shilpa Shetty has this company. Um, which is on her surname, Vian or Ayan, I forget that name, but they are also in the online gaming. So this online gaming platform, to me, would be the next big thing that will happen in India because people have now learned the art of staying at home and how to be engaged on this gaming platform. Dream11 has shown a tremendous engagement. Correct?
Yeah.
Many people have started doing into Dream. Unfortunately, it's not listed company. Correct? So to me, if the next multi-bagger can come is from this sector. So keep an eye on this. If something happen on,
Online
for
gaming
example,
industry.
correct. For example, Dream11 if it's coming for IPO and stuff like that, then you should write for it.
Okay. So, Sandeep, finally, this is our last question. So, what is your word of caution or word of advice for retail investor? If you have to give one advice or one caution for to a retail investor, what that would be?
It is your money, and you are the only one who should make a decision about it. There are so many so-called called analysts, investors, selling you so much of things in the market, but it is very difficult to find out which is right or which is wrong. Which product is right for you, which product is wrong for you, correct? Just like you buy your own clothes, you buy your own financial instruments so that you can stay for them for 10 years, at least 10 years, 20 years, correct? So start making your own decisions, spend time on this financial literacy. SEBI has created some programs, Investor First, RBI also wanted this program. They wanted to increase the financial literacy in India. But I think they are at the organization level, they have to do it. But people like us has to come into front and do this for India. So like you are doing that, I also have some thought to create this program which I could go and sell to universities, correct? For example.
Yeah.
So the only question is that it is your own money, make your own decision. Don't give it into others' hand.
Okay. Very well said. Yeah.
Very well said, Sandeep. Seriously, this is something that we should all follow. Like, I mean, this should be the key mantra for everybody who's starting investments. It was a
Correct.
very, very good session for me, at least. I thought that it was like a tutorial class for me. So it was really good talking to you. I had a very good time. Anything you want to say to us and people listening to you? Any last piece of advice, maybe?
No, I think it's a good session, and thanks Ashish and Kritik for having this conversation. I'm very excited to have this my first conversation, I would say, which is going to be in the public, and I can express my views. And I'm not coming from the very analyst background, correct? I'm a simple man, picked up this investment it's my own because I had interest, and I think this platform that we're going to create through this online videos is going to help the other retail people to start investing now and do your investment yourself.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Sandeep.
Thanks
It
a lot.
was very good talking to you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah.